Hi. So, apparently, good morning. Apparently, the issue wasn't treats that delayed me a little bit. It was that Toots, yes, you wanted me to come into the bedroom because, she runs this show. So here she is. Yeah. Good morning. And yeah, how is everybody? How is everybody? So it wasn't treats that she wanted. It was come into the bedroom from the living room where you were perfectly set up to do whatever the hell it is you do all day, lady, and come sit in the bedroom with me so I can sit in this tiny box underneath the ding dong hair. Okay. Yes. Are you satisfied now? Can I go sit? I don't know, man. Oh, come here and look at me in my box. Yes. Okay. All right. Now listen. Are you going to be a good girl? No. Yes, I know. Okay. All right. Enough of that malarkey. So just stay there. We'll see how long this lasts. Anyway, hi. What's up? What's up, everybody? So I was thinking, good morning. Oh God. So what's going on? What's going on, everyone? How you doing? Morning. I'll say hello. Andy has gray hair. Well, you know what? I washed it, so thank you. Yes, gato ekochka yo. Gloomy old England. Listen, I love me some gloomy old England. Absolutely post-punk, right? So that's what they do. That's how they do. So good morning. Green eyes. I know. She's a monster. I bless her heart. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I know she's cute, but she's again a task master. Hello. Sleuther son. Hi. Catching alive. Yeah, you know what? Oh, please keep the expectations low today. So I look, here's the deal. I don't know shit about much of anything. And the only real value that I can bring to any situation, I've said it again, I'll say it again, is talking about what I know. And what I know is journalism, and not even journalism, just reporting in the world. Like, I don't care what you call yourself, right? Give a sweet flying mother scratcher about what you call yourself, right? But I do have a serious problem with all the lying liars who lie. And that goes for people in positions of power. And that also goes for people who have large platforms. And I've been going on about this, but I was reading this, and this is super boring, but buckle up. I don't know. Did y'all know how people get their goddamn news? I mean, I didn't realize how many people actually got their news from YouTube, because I am not a YouTube person. I mean, I am, because by virtue of being here, but I don't know the ropes. I don't know the players. I don't know shit. And that's fine. But people, and who in the hell, right? So who in the hell is getting their information from Facebook still? Yikes, right? So when when we talk about consumption of media, and I'm going to get to the Delphi situation because I think it's it's one that I'm obviously very passionate about, and one that one that I've kind of become a part of, is right. So isn't that weird? I mean, I saw that. So, oh God, I mean, shit's been going tits up for a long time. Okay. And right. So like my mom has Facebook, Zimmy, and I get all my breaking cat news from her about her house cats. So I don't know who's, it's a bit terrifying. You're right. Old people. Yes, exactly. Old people. I haven't been on, anyway, whatever. But I was like, okay, well, so people do, I guess, get information from the YouTubes, right? So I guess it does matter when thinking about how people consume media. And I don't really care. Now, this is from Pew Research Center. And they do, they do good work. I think that I don't care if you're if this is Republican, Democrat, but everything is kind of framed through that frame. So I'm just looking at like the numbers, the pure numbers here. Anyway, so I saw that and I'm like, holy Mary Mother of Christmas trees. But the thing I think is important to me anyway, when I talk about Delphi, when I talk about liars and lying liars who lie, and Hidden True Crime, Murder Sheet, Prosecutors Podcast, I'm not kidding. These are people that have absolutely no check and balance on themselves. And so I was like, well, where did this kind of start with? Oh, can you see I have a scritchy scratch on my eye. Toots and I were playing, and she got a little carried away and scratched me in my ding dang eye. But anyway, so yeah, so where do you all get your news? I use YouTube the most, so Bailey, because I can choose the reporter, right? So that's interesting. I think that, and I'm talking. So when I talk about YouTube, so what do I got queued up here? So when I talk about YouTube, and I went actually back to, let me see if I can throw this up here. I actually went back to newspapers.com because I wanted to look at how the reporting on Delphi started. And a combo of CNN's 5 thing, New York Times, email alerts, and NPR. Oh, I got a bone to pick with New York Times. Yeah. Look, shit's going shit. Morning. Oh, hi. Hello. So when I started looking back at how the case, and I've said this before, so I come from the space of there has been a crisis in U.S. journalism since forever. I have a book from like 2010 talking about how we need to be careful about how we consume news and who we can consume news from. Because whether you want to believe it or not, look, a healthy democracy relies on the reporting and the fourth estate. It just does. They're inextricably linked. And I know a lot of people are uncomfortable talking about, politics in this vein, but it's where we are, people. And so let's see. So soap and clay, that sounds fascinating. Please tell me you have a channel where you make soap and you throw clay. Political news you get from YouTube, local news, Facebook, and Twitter. Interesting. Now, see the Facebook. Okay, so that makes a little sense. I do think that sometimes Facebook is good for like hyper local information. That I certainly get. So Candy says some of my local channel anchors went on their own, should be on YouTube, but doesn't realize. Oh, I see. More likely subscribers compared to their webpage. Got it. All Eyes gets all of her news from a lot of places. I definitely do not recommend. I definitely do not recommend this channel to all major YouTube channels like 2 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. So, and I don't know if people don't have a shitload of time, right? People don't have a shitload of time to do shit. And so ground news is good. That I agree with. So anyway, when I'm looking at, like, to me, it's almost, and why Delphi? It could be any other story, really, that has a lifespan to look through. But for me, it happens to be Delphi because, I've been approached by two of the worst players, in my opinion, over the last 7 or 8 months, however long I've been doing this, on Delphi specifically. So in the beginning, and I'm going to be coming in a lot, so let me just get rid of that. Nobody needs to be seeing my face right in there. Let's see. Yeah, I hit do not recommend. I don't recommend this either. I mean, I would just jog on. But I went back to ye old newspapers.com because I'm like, hey, wonder how this started out, right? And I mean, it's just interesting to see the amount of local coverage in newspapers.com. Now, a lot of these are from wire services, but you see it's like Journal and Courier, Daily Journal, all of this stuff. And what the hell is this? Let's see. Oh God, oh my God. So, I mean, interesting, right? How I find it fascinating. Now, I'm kind of looking at some of this along with y'all because I want to get an idea of what was out there. Could Colorado, oh, this is the Colorado guy, right? Nations, right. But look at that, man. Just doing a straight side-by-side over on the Tipton County Tribune. I mean, this is like a thing that people, say not to do. Yikes. Nations has not been charged with man's murder. And I do believe, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. So Ferris Tribune and Logansport reported a few things over the years. Okay. That is interesting. I didn't know there was a do not recommend, but now I do. Thank you, Candy. I'll go through and not recommend everyone. But so again, this was interesting. It's always interesting to me to see how things started, right? Like Journal and Courier. And see, here's this guy, man. I don't know who this mother scratcher is. But it's interesting that they put him out there. Police stop, 22 caliber rifle. I mean, okay. And so, oh boy, but look at that. Wow. So every kind, and this is print, right? So every every form of journalism has its own. I get my news from Discord, right? Can you shout out the dates? Okay, all of these are from 2017 that I'm looking at right now. So this is like the one that's on the screen, and any of the ones I've shown so far are from 2017. Okay. And so Bailey, I'm from Texas. I've been dug in 2017. I don't know honestly how it ended up in all your chat. Right. But I try and the facts and the transparency. And I think, that part of the problem here too is the stunning lack of transparency in this case, and how, it seems that there was somewhat of a spigot out there prior to Richard Allen's arrest. But then, once Allen is arrested, they got to close it down. They got to close down all the information. They have to hold people sort of hostage to what they will and will not share. And, that ain't how that works, friends. It's not supposed to be. But my point here with this thing is that the Journal and Courier, which is Lafayette, stand by for ambulance going by. It's ambulance o'clock. Or cops or something. So this is 9/30, 2017. So the same year, girls were killed, Lafayette. And look at that, right? So they have released this sketch, which we now know is a hodgepodge of God knows what from who knows where. But so it's still like above the fold. It's pretty splashy and sort of like attention grabby. It's sort of like the grab everybody's attention. And I mean, I get that, but also, come on, man, that's a lot of real estate. And yes, I agree. The limits on journalists in the courtroom was appalling, as was not televising. I think it's probably, this sounds absolutely stupid, but the least American thing I can think of in American jurisprudence and American, the U.S. Constitution's enshrining freedom of the press. It's trials are public to be public because it's people being tried by we the people, not we the Fran, right? And everything went way south with the gag order and a bunch of people that were claiming to be journalists had access behind the scenes, and cultivated that to the exclusion of all of the other news outlets. Now, as time goes on with a murder case or with anything, people lose interest. They go on about their lives, right? And so it makes sense, I guess, that people sort of started going, it's like this predictable sort of trajectory that these cases take with reporting. In the beginning, there's a lot of reporting being done, national, international. Then as time drags on, you then get into the once a year commemorations, or there has to be a news hook. And that's just the sad truth of it. The sad truth of it is that they need a hook. And this is, so to be clear too, the kind of journalism that I am familiar with, and the only thing that I know how to do is long form reporting. And that takes a hell of a lot of time. It takes a shitload of time and a lot of resources. And That's interesting that you say that. I thought that too. I just saw that. Weird. Never saw the double folded eyelids before. Yeah, that was weird. Interesting. So yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, the big splashy, like, breaking news and this just in from blurgity blurg. That is a thing. And unfortunately, there is such competition over eyeballs, and small town newspapers just can't keep up anymore, and haven't for a very long time. uh Allison, morning, just listening about the American news media. MSM was bought out years ago and held to the hands of the few. Yeah, where are you coming in from? Because you're absolutely right. I mean, it's been going that way for a long time, and it's gross as hell. Let's see. So I don't know, Allison, where you're from, but yes, American news media has been bought and paid for, even on the hyper local level. You have big conglomerates that put their knee on the scale. So let me see what else you're saying. So DB asked, doesn't good short form reporting take a lot of time too? I mean, I don't know. You'd have to ask a short. Now, see, so short form is, so long form investigative journalism that I am talking about requires like actual months of work. So when I think of daily newspapers, those can be short form, but no, they don't. They have to be rushed out the door, right? So even the best journalists at a daily are going to have, an issue with reporting accurately, appropriately, and it's a reason why there's a corrections department at most major outlets, is because oh, you're in Indiana. Okay, got it. 10-4. But it DB says, and I know DB is an investigative journalist with more experience than I have. So let me just see what he has to say. To get a scoop, doesn't it take a long time of relationship building? Yeah, I mean, yes, I think that's accurate. In my experience, I mean, and again, I can only really speak from my experience, but again, I think we're talking what I'm talking about when I think about short form, and let's maybe not get caught up in short form. I'm talking about like daily news, turn and burn versus long form pieces, right? I've worked on stories for like years. DB, excellent. I'm glad you know who's who. Goddamn right. I know which side my bread is buttered on. But yeah, so I think the delineation I'm making here, or trying to make, is that the everyday of news is typically a much shorter format. You have more people participating in the construction of an article, sometimes several people, sometimes there's a byline with like, and contributed, X, Y, and Z contributed. Yay. Good morning, woman. Twitter sports journalist. Oh, yeah, that guy. Sorry, slow in the uptake. I don't, again, old. So I get all my news from Bing, and I ask Jeeves a ton of shit still, and give it a Cecil when I have to. Good morning. Yeah. Well, and but I think that, but DB does bring up a good point about developing relationships with people, and how that facilitates good journalism. developing sources doesn't mean shit if your source is an absolute jerk and doesn't know what's going on. Like you can take time and cultivate a resource, but if their information is bad, or they're only sharing with you half the information, and it takes some discernment, and it takes some time, and it typically, that's why I think independent journalists get such a bad rap, because they don't have a crew of people that you typically would have working on stories that can help sort of separate the yield wheat from chaff, right? With all this situations. Let's see. What else is going on? Yes, Ask Jeeves, you bet. 100%. So anyway, so I was looking through that. I was, then I was partially absorbed into the oh shit of it all with the social media news and fact sheet from Pew Research. I'm like, what? Yikes. And so I'm like, okay, well, I guess looking at YouTube and being critical of I don't know, butt lickers out here doing some bad. I can't believe I just said butt lickers, but you know me. So out here doing bad, because it is important. And I found a clip of one of my favorite people in the world, from the early days, because then I looked at some of the reporting and some of the national and international blurgity blurgs out there, right, with the newspapers.com that I just showed you, from back in, this is from like February 16th, 2017. And you can see here the AP is taking the lead on this. So it goes from being kind of everywhere in print, and then it goes to sort of the anniversaries and the commemorations and 1 year, celebrations and things like that. And I think that's pretty normal. And I know for some reason I was having trouble digging up some old Carroll County Comment articles for some reason, but again, they even had like a hyper local, right, person that was there. Remind me about, so, but then I was like, okay, going back to, again, woman I love my life, can't stand it. So I went back to Lauren, because I'm like, I know a Murder Sheet's origin story, which is, whatever their origin story is. So I kind of, I know what that's about. But I'm like, so how did Lauren get into this, right? Because how did she start out? What was the deal with her at the beginning of this whole thing? So I went back to their, sort of playlist here to find one of the earliest videos that I could find. And she actually, it was interesting. I found this interesting because she's talking about so this is in 2019, I guess. Let me see what trying to see what the exact date. Okay. This is after the arrest. So I'm sorry, it's after the arrest. So this is from November 1st, 2022. And I don't know. I'm trying to go through and dig through their archive to see where they really started. But this was interesting to me because it was really, it was short, which is, mercifully short here. Hey, Salty Sleuth. Hello. And so I thought this was interesting because, Lauren prides herself on being a journalist. Now, I would suggest maybe she was a news presenter, which, is a thing in the news, but TV news is also incredibly different than print journalism. It just is. It's way different. So, okay, she was a reporter. So that's great. So I went back, started seeing how she was covering this. And let me just see if I can get this mother scratcher to play here. So she's talking about the arrest, etc.
Very quickly about the arrest, and we did state a couple things.
So she's talking about right after the arrest of Richard Allen, and she's talking about how she and Dr. John, who is a problem, went live and talked about scenarios. Now, that's not, you've got to be kidding me.
For new toys
Son of a
bitch.
Post Punk Mama sent me something about how to get rid of that, and I didn't ever do it. So sorry about that. But she's going to talk about the arrest, and I just want you to listen.
And indeed, only a coward would do something so horrendous. So I want to share a few things about Richard Allen that we have learned. I do realize that on Friday, the day that everybody learned of his arrest, Dr. John and I did go live that Friday night to discuss multiple cases. And we did state a few things that we were learning very quickly about the arrest. And we did state a couple things that I learned were wrong. One specifically, we stated that there was a...
So did you catch that? What she said was they did state some things incorrectly. Now, thumbs up for this, right? But I think that this is good. I think that this is, so when I look at this, I'm like, where did she go off the rails? Because I do think that, unlike Murder Sheet, I do think that she probably did have some actual bona fides in knowing how to, correct your record. And so, which apparently they forgot all about in the ensuing years. But holy shit, right? I was like, she's admitting that they did something wrong, because that is kind of a big deal when you make that correction. So I'm like, oh, you're doing great. Yeah. So let's hear that again. Let me slow it down just a little bit. But I'm not going to give her many kudos, but look, the woman corrected her some bullshit that they spewed. So
a few things that we were learning very quickly about the arrest, and we did state a couple things that I learned were wrong. One
I learned were wrong. So we did state a couple things I learned were wrong. Okay. And she does, Jamie, she definitely does come off different than Anya. And I think that that's because I do believe that somewhere in the way back, what's her face here did actually have some bona fides, whereas Anya, I don't know, didn't at all. Monsters. So, and Mrs. Peacock, right? I mean, wow, I didn't know she was capable of admitting wrong. And see, this is the thing. It's like, shit, man, I get stuff wrong all the time. I practically do nothing correct. I mean, it's kind of my deal. But, I will give props here because she corrected something. Now, where did it go after this? Let's just see. I haven't played the rest of this, so let's see what happens.
We stated that there was a sketch of Richard Allen behind him in his home.
Okay. Okay. So oh God. Did y'all just hear that? Did you just hear that? I had not ever. So, okay. So I'm going to have to correct my own record here and say, holy shit, I was wrong. If I was a reporter and I heard from God knows where, God knows who her sources were at this time, that Mr. Allen had a portrait of him, of the sketch behind himself in his home, I would have been like, nay, absolutamente nope. Will not run with that. Guess what? It's okay to slow the fuck down. Jesus Christ. Somebody reported that? Oh, Lord. Oh, God. Well, okay, at least, okay. Look. Okay. I'm still giving her creds for correcting it because woof.
And it was posted by his wife, Kathy. We've now learned that's a bar he frequented often, and it was a picture, I believe, on their Facebook page. But indeed, there is a photograph of his wife, Kathy, who he married in 1991. Good old family man here.
Oh, boy. Wait a minute. Okay. Now. Okay. All right. So apparently there is no neutrality, right? Did you guys just see that? Okay, now I do know she looks differently, but I'm going to ask you guys to try to not go too far into her looks because I don't know if you've seen me lately, but holy shit. So, yeah, if you can hold off, just try. I get it. I totally get it. So she just rolled her eyes. If you can't keep your eyeballs where they need to be, which is not being rolled, maybe don't.
Graph of his wife, Kathy, who he married in 1991. Good old family man here.
Oh, no. I'm hypersensitive about how old bags look. She's not an old bag though. But so she just rolled her eyes. My suggestion, don't do that on video. If you cannot keep your face right, do you see this little dot down here in the corner of my screen? Right? Where I have the option of like showing you that or not. Maybe just use an avatar. Because okay, I'm gonna have to just strike my whole no. No. Right? If you can't make normal faces, then don't. Right? I know myself well enough to know that A, I cannot see shit. So B, I'm going to turn off my camera so y'all don't have to look straight up my nose when I get in close and look at shit I'm trying to read. Now, this is disappointing. I have to admit. I'm very disappointed. You know what? Yeah, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. So this is one of the earlier ones. So where she was able to admit they got something wrong, but man, had to, come around the side though with a shitty comment afterwards. No, that's not how you do that.
They also have a daughter, and there was the sketch, of the suspect, the murderer.
Oh, his. So there we go. So apparently she and Dr. John did a live that same day, because that is a huge problem, is that everybody is tripping over themselves to break some sort of news. Lady, this is a case that was practically cold. You're not breaking any news. What you're doing is trying to get on the bandwagon and just throw stuff out there. Now, look, man, apparently that's all you want to be, because we see where this has gone full circle, right? Yeah. So beating people to the punch on the YouTube platform, there's nothing that I've ever found out about anything that is so, critical. I mean, there is breaking cat news. So let's, I have to be honest. There is some breaking cat news at times that I do need to come in. Very, very, infrequently, almost never is anything titled bombshell a bombshell. Rarely, right? I'm not sure what a bombshell would be, but I don't know. I guess I don't know this whole algorithm SEO bullshit, but whatever. Right. Who does? If it's not breaking news, it's a bombshell. Yeah, guess what? Not everything's that big of a deal, right? I mean, yes, I agree. And I am so glad to welcome Andrea Burkhart to the cat community. Welcome. It's single-handedly, for me, saved that hellscape of a news site, right? Because people are going to it for news. With the old X, not as much, thank God. But for cat news, you bet. Let's see. What do you guys? Okay. This is interesting. Here's my thing, says soap and clay. Again, I have to know more about what your soap and what your clay is. But correcting via video platform, long form content, shouldn't she go back, delete the portion she got wrong? Yeah. I mean, if in a perfect world, yeah, take that shit down, right? So take it down. Fix the shit you did wrong, right? I mean, I put shit up, and what was it? I don't remember what it was. I put something up that had my own email address on it, and I realized I had to take it down and cut it because YouTube won't let you do that. But it's just common sense, right? And that is right. You are right. So I would, if it were me and I made a handful of mistakes, I think to be fair at this stage, if it was something, I guess it would depend on the gravity of the mistake. But I think that this is doing no favors for the story. It's doing nothing but already, doing the eye roll. So apparently, oh God, so let's see what else she has to say.
Okay, so I do want to clarify that and make that correction. Since that time, I want to share what we have learned about.
Okay. I'm going to look and see what her oh, there are no sources. Interesting. Huh. I mean, look, to be fair, I don't always. So when I do things, say on my own website or my own Substack, I link to every source that I utilize. unless it's somebody that is an anonymous source, right? Or there's something like that. So nobody does, and I think that, nobody seems to do that with the YouTube. Like here's what would be goodwill in a reporting community, let's say, on YouTube. It would be to throw a bunch of links down here below to wherever you're getting your information from. So if it's a link to, say, an Indie Star story, you throw that link in there, right? You throw whatever, if it's from a news source, if it's from whatever, throw it in your comments, throw it in whatever. And maybe her mods did, but I don't get that feeling from her. I do not get that feeling from her. So, and links are good too, because don't listen to the shit that I'm talking about, right? Because I'm going to pull out what fits the story that I'm telling. And when I say that, I mean, even if it's a news article, I am going to select a slice of information. Like this shit, that is a slice of a very, very long and boring research study. But I'll throw a goddamn link up on Twitter or whatever so people can go and read the methodology if they want to nerd out or whatever it is. So just maybe do that. If you're saying what we have learned, who is the we? Is it the royal we? I mean, I don't know. Start there. You can do that, right?
Man. We've learned that Doug Carter, Superintendent Doug Carter, was exactly right. He was hiding in plain sight.
Oh my God. Okay. I don't know, man. Holy. So she had this figured out, I guess, from November 1st. Why did y'all, okay. Why did I think that somehow, yes, we do. We have a royal wheat. I don't know. Which part is wrong? All of it? Yeah, about Doug Carter. Just all of it, right? So unfortunately, it's hard to go back through the Delphi case, even though to me, again, it's a really great example, a real test case on, or not a test case, a case study on how to not report on a story. And, the conversations that are happening around how stories are accessed, how stories are created. Thank God you're here. And how narratives are put together. So it matters a lot. It matters a lot what happens in the early days. It matters a lot, to the people who have access. It matters a lot if it's in the middle of a news desert. It also matters a lot if people prejudge the defendant. So if we're talking about a true crime case, which we are immediately, or some people immediately, Lauren here apparently takes Doug Carter's word for it. Captain Shards of hot fucking sharts for that lying liar who lies, Jerry Holman, right? So apparently she's just listening to whatever the hell the state says. And that's a problem because the state believes and cannot stop believing. Don't stop believing that you got the wrong guy, or that you at least have a factually innocent man. At this point, Richard Allen, ma'am, is factually innocent. He should be afforded that if you are doing reporting, if you are truly setting yourself up to follow wherever the information leads, then you owe it to everyone, including the victims you claim to speak for. And that's the other thing about this woman. And, you know, we're in it for the victims. I am sorry, but bullshit. Bullshit. People that say that have never fucking actually worked with true victims in a way that doesn't exploit them, because you would never fucking say that if you actually were in it for the victims. You goddamn wouldn't. You know who says shit like that? This woman, Murder Sheet, goddamn Nancy Grace, name it. Name it. And I am sick of it. Because there's a way to do it. And the way that she has done it and the way it has been exposed and her bullshit, nah, miss me with that fucking bullshit. There is a way to work with victims, and I pointed it out before and I'll point it out again. If you aren't getting some goddamn trauma-informed journalism training, get the fuck out of the biz. Because then you're just a vulture. A vulture. And Jesus, I started by giving her the benefit of the doubt. Look, apparently she had her mind made up by then, because what I'm assuming is that she and Dr. John went on and apparently made a bunch of goddamn statements, and Lord knows that man can't admit that he's wrong, right? I mean, everybody's seen the video I've done about these two to who laid the rail. I'm not going to put it out there again because it's whatever. If you want to see me reacting to their fucking bullshit, it's out there. It's out there. And look, this is one thing I will say is that I smelled what these people were stepping in a long fucking time ago. Gross. And you know, so you know, I'm in it for the victims. Blow it out your ass, right? And that's why I have such a problem with Murder Sheet, because Anya pulls on her victim's skin suit and writes as though she's a dead 13-year-old child. And I would like to think that if I was that child's mother, I would be furious. I'd be fucking furious. But that's just me. Gross. Y'all are gross. So wait a minute. Let's see here. What are you guys saying? Zimmy, I saw some videos she made in the car. Okay. Lunchtime, like breaking news. I stopped watching after that. Yeah. And I mean, I think that, yeah. So All Eyes says, I watched Lauren's Why We're Going to Delphi video, and I thought she seemed great because it was the only video I'd ever seen of HTC at that point, right? So, and this is, you know, I think that everybody has to do, and listen, when I first, you know, I'm a podcast gal, and I listen to all sorts of podcasts. Like one of my favorites is Sawbones. One of, you know, there's just so many good ones out there, like about different genres. I'm not just like true crime, right? But I started listening to, I can't remember which one it was. Oh, when all the Daybell stuff started happening. And I think that that's maybe when a lot of people in the Richard Allen community came to know who this person was. And because she showed up in Delphi, which is fine. Anybody can show up anywhere. But what the fuck was I saying? God damn it. All eyes, right. So I did see some of their conversations. I'm not going to say coverage because they didn't cover the Daybell trial, right? They philosophized and sat in a room full of farts. And you know, I watched a few episodes and then I couldn't take it anymore. I simply could not take it anymore because the sanctimonious claptrap, right? Salty says LM went to Delphi for one reason. Yep. It was for the views, period. Right. Right. I mean, so I just, yeah, 100%. And you know, the other thing that I think is interesting in this space of you know, online journalism in the what do you call it, the true crime space or whatever the hell it is, that being able to have some I don't know, if there's nothing I can bring to a story, I'm not going to insert myself in that story. I'm just not, you know? Right, exactly. She didn't cover Daybell. She inserted herself into it. Right. And that is exactly right. And that is a hard needle to thread as a person who spent a lot of time doing actual journalism. I mean, it sounds like a trope at this point. Yeah, I was a journalist. Well, you know what? I was, for fuck's sake. It's all I know, really. I mean, I know cats. I know a little bit about, you know, I don't know. I know a little bit about cats and Iowa and reporting. That's kind of it. So when I see it done so badly and so aggressively, it's like, God damn, right? So if there's nothing I can bring to a situation, I'm not going to just show up and insert myself. I'm not. And I think the thing that bugs me, there's so many things that bug me about this whole situation. And it's why I kind of wanted to go back to, at least for my own understanding of where they came from, where hidden true crime came from, is because I did have the perception that there was at least a whiff of honest brokers here, that there was some sort of potential here for something interesting. One of the other things that, yeah, you know what, DB? Yes, she is. Abso-fucking-lutely. And I told Andrea when I had her on one of my fucking, you know, podcasts, right? Or whatever this is, my YouTube, when she said something about that, I looked to her coverage and Lawyer Lee's coverage. And you know what? You can like or dislike any of these people, but Lawyer Lee brought something different to the table. Andrea, you know, read out the whole damn thing. And I told Andrea on one of the sit downs I had with her, I'm like, you know, you're a reporter, my friend. You are a reporter, my friend. And she's like, well, I don't know. You're the expert. I'm like, yes, bitch, I am on this. God, I love her. But yeah. So Lawyer Lee, so the only real reporters truly if you wanted to, yes, and Bob, absolutely. I mean, I got my trifecta, my triple crown. Bob, Lawyer Lee, and Andrea. You know? So, and that was for stuff that's inside the courtroom. I didn't really care all that much about what was going on outside of the courtroom, but that's because I just wasn't, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't really, everybody knows I'm new to this case. I'm not really, I'm not a lifer, none of that. And all y'all have been way further into this. And so, which I think is an advantage for me too. So I don't know all the shit, but I do know that the only coverage that was coverage of the trial and the kind of coverage that people as news consumers, I would want people to flock to, folks like Andrea Burkhart, because what we learn, yeah, she's a defense attorney, but guess what? You mother scratchers, Richard Allen, every day he was in that trial, he was an innocent man. And people say, Bob, Lawyer Lee, whatever, all these people have a defense of Ben. Yeah, everybody should until the trial. Everybody should. The presumption of innocence must be afforded. And these mother scratchers, nah, can't. And I wanted to know what was actually going on because, like so many people, I was pissed that this wasn't going to be something that was transparent. And everybody should be pissed. Yeah, 100%. Same. And her cats, right? 100%. So it's as a person who is consuming news, maybe I'm just way too much of a nerd. Maybe I'm just way too much in the weeds on trials and rule of law as it's crumbling from beneath us, right? But that's the stuff I wanted to know. And the thing is that the roadblock, these folks who got into the room, who had reporting experience and positioned themselves as authorities, at least from a journalist perspective, position themselves as an authority for having done the work. And so I think maybe, stay away next time, right? Maybe just don't next time. You have to be a value add. At least that's for me. Oh, Toodles is moving around in her box. Hang on. What are y'all saying? I think we've heard enough out of DB for the moment. Yes, same. And see, this is another thing, CH. This can be true too. So again, some of this stuff, the first couple days, CH says, of HTC lunch lives were informative and far less biased. Quick updates of who testified, and that changed. So yeah, look, I got plenty of space in this brain to handle information, no matter who it comes from. Right? It's if she was doing some service out there in yield community by getting information out that was correct and to the point, yeah, great. But again, it begs the question, what exactly is the role of this platform? I don't fucking know. I'm not going to be the one to figure that out. But yeah, and they did. They brought some serious drama. Yes, they brought the drama. And look, I enjoy a good drama play every now and then, but no. Nah. Let's see. Andrea's was the purest of this is what happened today. Yeah. Uh-huh. 100%. So, but then you kind of fast forward here, right? And then we get into the let me just hang on. Default view. I'm trying to figure out though when some of their first bullshit was. Because what I wanted to do, because again, I have some time until December, so I may as well. I wanted to compare what came out from like the Andreas, the Bobs, the local news reporting, even folks from the county or the tri-county area or in-state, the state reporting, that kind of thing. I wanted to kind of see how all of it either came together or diverged, because I think it's very interesting that helps me understand how things started to come undone. And a lot of this we know was undone prior to the trial. We know it was undone by, the big creators, and that's what they are. They're creators. I'm sorry, Murder Sheet. Y'all are YouTubers. You have a YouTube channel, right? This lady, YouTuber. Who are those dorks? Goddamn Prosecutors Podcast. Yep. Y'all are YouTubers, right? So if you want to use that as a derogatory term, come on in, because y'all are the same. Right? Oh, hey, Young Black. Whoop. There she is. Hey, yo. Oh, yep, there it is. DB's Pod, OnlyFans. Yep. Yeah. Listen to Young Black Economist. Her writing speed and ability to hold her beat. Is this another shout out for Andrea? Because yes. So, yeah, I don't really know. And that was another thing I found interesting about, like, she's a subject. To me, she was so this is about, Lauren was on Mormon Stories, and she has, the Mormon Ben, right? So to me, that was interesting because I'm not a subject matter expert in that area. I only had terrifying Catholicism pounded into my head. I mean, for real, right? But what this origin story has got me fucked up. It truly does. And I do think that she did bring something to me in the beginning, but then holy fuck. Hey girl, I sent you an email. Okay. So anyway, I wanted to see where she got started with Delphi. That's it. Apparently she got started on the wrong goddamn foot. Right? I gave her Yes, let's please throw that up there. And look, they need to be called out. These people need to be called out. And I don't know any other way to do it than from my perspective as an actual, person living and breathing in the journalism world, right? So apparently I'm wrong. I'm here to admit it, fucking wrong, that apparently that it only took, let's see, 2 minutes. 2 minutes for me to go from, yay, she admitted she was wrong about something, to sweet creeping Jesus with the eye fucking roll. And then I'm here for the victims. I hate that. It gives me the creeps, the total creeps. And I don't mean good creeps like y'all. Y'all are good creeps, right? So yikes. I guess I was fucking wrong. But I do cherish the one moment.
Few things that we were learning very quickly about the arrest, and we did state a couple things that I learned were wrong. One,
wrong. I did learn a couple things were wrong. Right? R-O, wrong. Bing. Yes, I'm a creep. 100% hint. So, but that's the deal, right? So we know this. And what I got off on the other day was trying to draw people's attention to the distinct similarities between her and her God Almighty fucking fuck with
send us like we don't,
these
think.
Surprise. Yeah, wrong. Right? 100%. Oh, well, somebody please explain the wrong lore. So, drawing together the bad actors, and to me, look, this is where is it? Where's my banner? This is my opinion. Okay. This is my speculation, my opinion. But these three, woof. I don't have a loud enough woof. Now, the only thing that would have made this better, is if Dr. John joined them. And I think that this gets me to another concern I have about this kind of tag teaming, the husband and wife of it all, right? Here we have a man and a woman. So we have Lauren. Let's set her aside for a minute. We've got a lawyer, or actually an attorney, and we have a, quote, journalist. Now, I maintain that these two are barely holding it together with their chosen professions, much like Jesus Christ, fix your bookshelves. Now, that is me being petty, but I got to tell you something. I'm very particular about my goddamn bookshelves, and y'all know it. Anybody who's known me knows it. But my point is you have Lauren, who claims to be a reporter or a journalist. Sorry. Apparently that's better than reporter. And her husband, who is a licensed professional, handing out diagnoses of people he's never met, predicated on false fucking information. And I got into that the other day because I'll be damned if these people aren't out here perpetrating some miscreant shit. And the thing that these two over here do, Kevin and Anya do, is Kevin has the veneer of credibility, right? The veneer of credibility, because he's an attorney. And that's where people get stuck in the weeds. Because again, as you can see down here in the corner, this is my opinion. This motherfucker is a terrible, terrible attorney. Bad, real bad. And if people are turning to him to say, oh, I don't know, get some information or get some help on how to turn over some supposedly leaked photos or how to contact a factually innocent man when he's represented by a third party, you don't want to go to this guy. You don't. Okay? You don't. And she is not a journalist. She ain't. That book they wrote, again, I've said this, and again, this is my opinion. This is my speculation. We'll just create a banner. We'll just, you know what? Yeah, this is just straight my speculation. But my speculation is that their book is providing a roadmap. And it is a roadmap to what exactly went down behind the scenes with the state, right? Yeah. Utterly unethical, 100%. This one over here, Lauren, she's over here saying, I'm here for the victims, rolling herself in the Kay and Larry and Crusha of it all. And these two are over here pulling on the skin suits of dead children. Do not cloak themselves in victims. It's gross. It's a terrible look. And you know what? Here's hoping. This is just going to be my opinion. Let me see if I can get my banner. My opinion, it's going to come back to fucking haunt you. And I don't know how, and I don't fucking know when, but I hope to Christ it is at an ethics board hearing in, say, Utah, Nevada, or Indiana, because this shit has got to stop. What they have done to reporting, what they have done to what I believe can still be an honest and upstanding endeavor of journalism, y'all fucked it straight up. And you intertwined yourselves in that shit. So the thing is that I just, the way, I don't want to have to go through this again. Yuck. Grody, right? These are grody jodies. And I'm sorry, but guess what? Gen X coming in hot. And they are grody AF.
Whenever that happened, inevitably it would be just some made up nonsense and you could just ignore it. But
okay, this is right. This is when they take the piss out of content creators, of which they are. Do you guys see that we're watching this on YouTube? Do you see that?
Opened it up, saw what you saw and what you did next. Yeah. So this is something that actually it happened in early October. I think it was October 5th.
Oh, come on. You guys know exactly when the quote unquote no, I can't. All right. Nope. I've already done this. And I can't do it again. I can't. Hi. Oh my God, a YouTube member. Yay. Oh, Lord have mercy. I mean, thank you for coming aboard, Sophia. There's a lot of swears, just lots. But where did this start? It started with me being just trying to find where Lauren came into it. And the reason why this matters is because if we look at this again, and I did this the other day, so I'm not going to go back through it, but I do think it's important to point out that although Hidden True Crime is losing subscribers, apparently, this bullshit, and it is straight bullshit, what they're spewing about a leak and about certain content creators who they have pursued with, oh God, I mean, literally, I mean, talk about, this is my opinion still, stalker much, Kevin and Ananya. God damn it. Right? God damn it. Oh, fucking God damn it. Welcome aboard. Son of a bitch. I don't know. Buckle up because it's just bad. But, again, it's just, I've gone through this before, but they are out here straight lying. They just are. And the legal system and reporting on things happening within the legal system can be like pulling your hair out, which is why everybody, including myself, look forward to T and Slutherson doing their document drops and doing their live reads, because people out here like All Eyes and Sleuthy and, everybody that has been behind the scenes trying to drag this thing into the light, they come out here, open their stupid mouths and barf out all of this misinformation. And you know what? Not even misinformation. They fucking know it's a lie. They know it's a lie because we have the documentation of what they actually said about the leak. I know this is a little insider baseball, but even if you do not believe Richard Allen is guilty, and I'm unlike other people, or maybe not, I don't know, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But don't fucking lie about the process. Don't lie about how you inserted yourself straight into the middle of a case. Don't lie. Don't lie about a man being found, having a domestic violence incident when he factually did not, Lauren. Right? Right? So it's important for people to be, somebody earlier in the chat said that they, like to follow individual journalists and, and I think that there are some people that fell into the HTC trap early on, or even the murder sheet trap early on when they were out there doing their burger chef thing, man. Maybe they should have just stuck to that instead of freaking out on, creators and having people's, trying to have people's professional licenses revoked and, having your name show up on a police report where somebody gets swatted. I don't know, man. Maybe don't do that. And Lauren, maybe do some more background checks on the dirtbags that you're bringing on your podcast. Again, this is all just my opinion. But these people now, it's like, what is that movie? All I can picture is like slime coalescing together, and it's like growing into some sort of monstrosity, right? Maybe it's a Terminator. When the Terminator guy or the cop guy is liquefied and he slides under a door and he reconstitutes himself. These people are that Mercury, I guess, that's reconstituting itself. Because We have these two who have written this terrible, terrible book that is an abomination to the English language and the legal system. So it's a twofer. Then we have this earnest woman over here who is just glowing. And her husband, who is just, you know, misdiagnosing people, like we're at some sort of you know, Shakespearean dry tug, right? Which is what he likes to pontificate about. But here, if only it was fiction, right? And it is fiction. That shit is fiction. Yeah. And I mean, this is the other thing too. Lauren made Larry wait for 9 minutes after trial to interview him. It was disgusting as a human, much less a reporter. This is why you do not, when you report, girl, get into the archives of Andy's holy fuck, because no. Bad, like a different kind of bad, scary bad. But so, you know, this is why when I worked with, and I've worked with a lot of victims over the years, and one of my all-time favorite people is she calls herself a murder mom, and her daughter was murdered 20 years ago. And, you know, Salty Sleuth actually alluded to something about this the other day when she was taking a piss out of Lauren and everybody else, as appropriately so, was that, you know, there are stories of victims out there that need to be told. And there is a right way and a fucking wrong way to do it. And so my friend Maggie's daughter was murdered 20 years ago, and she goes to CrimeCon. And she knows it's bullshit. She knows it's a bunch of people that are out there just to be out there. And you know, it is and the reason that I think Maggie is different, and let me see if I can actually find, give me 1 second here. Maggie is, let me take this down. So Maggie is fucking brilliant, and I'm not saying other victims' families aren't, blurgity blurg. I'm not saying any of that stuff. What I am saying is that Maggie is actually, literally, this just occurred to me. Maggie is actually a licensed clinical, she's an actual Dr. John, but actual practicing, going into prisons, working with people, and actually doing forensic work. So Maggie knows about trauma, and she knows about how to get trying to get attention for victims. And she puts herself right in the middle of it. Right. So, but she knows it, but there's families out there that don't have the benefit of, and it sounds so stupid, and I hope people take this the right way. And I think people will, and maybe it's in a short, hang on a second. I'm trying to find it. God damn it. I was talking to Maggie, and it was before one of the crime cons, and she and I were talking, and she was just sort of over it. Okay, let me see.
The first 9 years.
Okay. So let me just, and I love Maggie. And she went to this year's crime con, and she knows, and this is where I get into the Cheryl McCollum and Nancy Grace. These people can go pound sand because I've had it, but there are victims and victims' family, right? That that do not have the kind of light on it that need to be on it. And so when Maggie goes, and this is actually from CrimeCon in Orlando, I guess. Hang on. Let's see. Boop, boop, boop. And she was just venting because she drives. Well, I can't get into all of her stories, so let me just tell her her story. Yeah. Yeah. So, but Maggie's daughter, Brittany, and I have like a Substack with the information, the timeline, and I've been in touch with Maggie for years. Our daughters have the same birth date. I don't know. Maggie and I just clicked. We are, grumpy old fucking women who've had it up to here with your bullshit. And I fell in love with her. I fell in love with the getting together with her and screaming about the insanity of it all. But I don't do a lot of work to bring her story forward because, man, that's a heavy burden. And Maggie's also become a friend. And so that makes it even more probably inappropriate for me to do any sort of quote unquote reporting. But it says 5 months ago, but this was up. I guess that's when it was uploaded, but this was when it was in Orlando. So, let's see. And she was just pissed. She was pissed.
Every time somebody called in a suspect, Jeff would either get their DNA.
So she's talking about
9 years.
Hang on.
Every time somebody called in a suspect, Jeff would either get their DNA and then be upset because it didn't match, or go and interview them. And he got a list of all the males at the apartment complex, and he got a list of males in British school and people who cleaned the apartments and cleaned the school. He did everything. Granted, he beats himself up, for only focusing on.
So she was talking a little bit about, this actually is not the one I wanted. I'm sorry, y'alls. But she's talking a little bit about the first investigators in her case. Now, this has been 20 years, right? 20 years, this woman, and living with this. Let me see. Trying to find the goddamn one where she went to CrimeCon and was like, nah. Okay. Now there is actually, I do have a few of the podcasts. It's just audio only that I did, about some of the evidence and stuff. Let's see. Is this it? Let me see what this is.
The ones most.
Okay. So she was calling in and trying to.
Oh, and there she left.
Oh, I was trying to get her before CrimeCon.
Anyway, so maybe she'll call back. She is literally at CrimeCon.
Hang on. Let me see.
No good explanation for why the first DNA sample was rejected or was supposedly not. Let's see. Oh, is Maggie coming? Hang on 1 second. Hello? Hello? Why? Hello? I just wanted to say hello. Can you hear me, Maggie?
she's like
oh, and there she left.
Right. So she says in here, hang on.
Oh my God.
What's different?
Hello. Hi.
Can you hear this?
Yeah, can you hear me?
What were you talking about your hair the other day?
Oh my God.
What's different?
No.
This is from Orlando.
It was first thing in the morning and my hair was like.
She and I just yak about stuff, but this is from the Orlando CrimeCon. And Maggie, just so you know, she drives a van, or I'm sorry, like an SUV that has an actual wrap of her daughter's story. Like the entire thing is wrapped with her daughter, and she's put hundreds of thousands of miles on her car to get the word out, but also to meet other homicide families.
Like this. So you went back in. I was just doing, this is just recording. It's not live. So I was just kind of walking through everything since February.
Preach.
With the new evidence and the fact that the police haven't called your ex or anything like that.
Right.
And I just thought I would, and I did try to call TPD. I talked to 2 different people, just saying that, that I'm working on a story about the 19th anniversary, etc. So we'll see if they get back to me. And I do, like I said, New York is a one-party state, so
I still would email both the chief and deputy chief because
So here we were trying to figure out, and again, I was talking about a hook, and unfortunately, stories have to have a hook, right? They have to have a hook, and unfortunately for Maggie, she is at the point in her victimhood of her daughter's murder that she has to have a hook, and it has to be now. That was the 19th anniversary. We're coming up on the 20. It's going to be 21 years. Her daughter was murdered in her fucking apartment in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And there was a shroud of fucking secrecy and a lot of creeps. Okay. You've seen her. Okay. Probably. Yeah. Maggie goes everywhere. She knows that this is a horrible game, that not even a game, a horrible job that she has to do is CrimeCon. It's a horrible fucking job, and she knows it.
they are the ones that specifically said, oh, we want to solve this case, so we really want you to do the story on her anniversary.
Yeah, well, and so you weren't able to do, so Channel 2 in Tulsa wants to do an update story or something with you, but you weren't able to connect with them today? Is that right?
I mean, we tried, but Paul Jensen was presenting earlier, and I went in and saw that a little bit. Chris Hansen's here presenting. It's such a popularity thing. You know, everybody's one.
You hear that? She fucking knows. Let's slow Maggie down. God damn it. I got to give her a call.
Paul Jensen was presenting earlier, and I went in and saw that a little bit. Chris Hansen's here presenting. It's such a popularity thing. You know, everybody's wanting to take pictures.
I know.
You know,
and
stuff.
It makes me feel a little weird. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but, you know, like I said, the exposure that, and Nancy Grace is here. She probably doesn't even remember me at all.
Well, she was real sweet on the phone that one time.
Yeah, well, but all her people, her executive producer knows me, and her executive producer said hi, and Lee Egan, and Lee Egan knows me. I mean, they were all upset about the parking too.
So when she's talking about the parking, that's a terrible pause. I'm sorry, Maggie.
Yeah, stuff. So I wish I.
So again, I said she has a car, and I have there's a playlist in my playlist that has all the Maggie stuff. So she was told by Cheryl McCollum that she was going to be able to just drive her car straight on up to the convention center in Orlando, or somebody, I can't remember who it was. And the car with the wrap with a picture of Brittany on it, and, you know, still looking for tips. And Maggie's out there after having driven from Oklahoma all the way to Orlando on one of her cross-country trips, and couldn't get parking in front of the convention center like she was told she could. I was pissed. Yikes. I was mad. So I'm going to get off here in a minute, but
turn the camera around. You could see how wild and crazy this is, but I don't know how to do that on this thing.
No.
But what is this called? StreamYard. So I'm wondering why StreamYard is working very.
And here we go, off talking just about shit we talk about. So, let's see. So she was at CrimeCon. She and I were trying to connect and talk about some new evidence in her case. But you heard what she said. She's like, it's a popularity contest. And I'm like, yes, correctamundo, right? It is. So she knows, but the problem is, folks, that not everybody. Let's go see the cat. Let's go check on the cat. Oh, there she is. Thank God. Here she is. All right. So, again, still my opinion. As you can see down there she is. I know. Whatever. Just an old bag out here in the world. But not everybody has the ability to see the forest through the trees here. And Maggie sees this as a means to an end. And the end is hopefully finding who fucking strangled her daughter to death. She was buried on what would have been her 19th birthday. I mean, and so this is why you don't wrap yourself in victims. Pause for the ambulance. This is why you don't wrap yourself in victims, because man, oh man, she's been living with this for 20 fucking years, and she has to go do the dog and pony show. And so when people go to CrimeCon as victims, I get it. As victims' families, I get it. I mean, there's certain families I question, but again, we're still down in my opinion, right? But that's why you don't cloak yourself in victims. That's why you don't go to CrimeCon it's gross. And it's unfortunate because it's such a thing. But that's just it. She needs exposure. She needs that coverage. Oh, good morning, sweetie. Aw. But anyway, so oh God. Wait, what? They won an award from fucking CrimeCon? God, who gives a shit? Are you kidding me? That's funny. So anyway, I'm trying to wrap my head around this, and what I was talking about earlier and how people consume news. Yeah. I got to think about this whole YouTube situation and try to tease out my narrative about, not even narrative, just sort of the facts about where the Murder Sheet and Prosecutors Podcast and all these other people came into one big ick when it comes to Delphi. And like I said, do disservice to both the criminal legal system and the presumption of innocence, but also just to the written word, for Christ's sake. But so yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't been paying attention. Oh man, DB. So anyway, look, it's been like over an hour. Oh, for fuck's sake, it's been an hour and 45. So, me, it's just, I don't know. I would encourage people, if they want to watch my content, that they watch it in rerun, right? Because God, that way you can go like on 1.5. So you don't have to, or just don't fucking watch me, right? It's up to you. But anyway, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to try to figure out how they came to Delphi exactly. And when all of these roads sort of diverge, and go back to the leak of it all, because I do think that is a weird unifying point for a lot of these scuzzbags. But I really appreciate everybody showing up And I'm sorry, I haven't been looking through ye old chat. Any final thoughts? Any, oh God, Jerry Holman. Oh God. Like a totally yep. Totally real. Totally real. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I don't know what this is, but look, this is applicable across all situations. A woman says, oh, puke. Yes, 100% about whatever it is. You bet. Somebody has a question mark, and I don't know what that is. Oh, case by case is doing something. Okay. Well, I wish I knew how to tube y'all over there. Tube y'all. Listen to me. Jesus Christ. What an idiot. Okay, look, I got to get the fuck out of here because y'all are making me crazy. And so